315-9739.
EGL, home of electronics and affordable luxury.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Before we took the break, I was reading for you portions of the Parliamentary Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, which submitted a report to the House yesterday on the anti-LGBTQI bill. Key among the opponents of the bill is the Ghana AIDS Commission. Ibrahim Ahmed, Member of Parliament for Banda and Deputy Whip, has said that the president ought to take action on that position of the Ghana AIDS Commission. I had on the line Dr. Chametu Ahini. We were having a conversation, and I was trying to read for him specifically what the committee said when we lost him. We've got him back now. Let me just continue with that conversation. So, Doc, while you were off, I was reading copious statements made by the committee in its report to the House, and your commission has been mentioned as one of the commission. In fact, all the reasons that you gave to object to the bill were listed in that report, and that is the reason the Member of Parliament has taken issue. You were saying that you never objected, or you were saying that it has not been properly captured?
Never objected to the passage of the bill.
Sorry, say that again. I didn't.
The commission rather raised arguments against some of the clauses in the bill, which was going to make the bill, if passed, a bad law. And when I made the presentation before the committee, admitted, and some members even came to me and thanked me for the issues I had, because they had not thought about it. And according to the information I have, those issues were, extensively deliberated and had to be reflected in the revised bill. And so, Honorable Ahmed, with all respect, I think his position is an uninformed one. He probably is just taking the issues out of context. Yes, we raised issues against certain clauses in the bill, which we thought had potential, were going to pose potential threat to individuals and families and communities in this country. And therefore, the Parliament needed to look at those clauses. And I'm happy to know that they have actually considered these matters.
I see, but Ahmed Ibrahim may be speaking from a position which is in reference to what the committee's chairman has reported to the House and indeed to the country. You are listed there on paragraph 7.61 as one of the institutions, and in fact, it says that on the other hand, some other institutions, groups and individuals, including Human Rights Coalition, Ghana AIDS Commission, Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Key Watch Ghana and Intersex Ghana, among others, are opposed to the passage of the bill. And the argument that you advanced were highlighted subsequently. So it is the decision of the report that you were opposed. That's the conclusion, and for which reason the Member of Parliament raised the issues that he did.
Yes, and I think that inclusion of Ghana's commission in the list of those who overtly oppose the bill is quite misleading, and is something that we want to have resolved with the committee. As I've said over and over again, is the fact that, yes, we do not deny the fact that we actually made arguments against certain clauses in the draft bill, and advanced the argument that if those clauses were not amended, it was going to make the law a bad one if passed in its form as it was then.
Which areas were you advising against, or what were some of the red flags you raised then in the draft bill?
For example, we looked at public health implications of some of the clauses where people who gave any form of support, whether medical or whatever, to known or people who are LGBT were supposed to be, they were to be punished by law. Okay? And so we use the example of doctors and nurses and let's say healthcare workers. In the healthcare setting, any person who walks into the four walls of the or any health facility is seen as a patient. There is no hospital that has records on gays and lesbians. Everybody who works there, whether you are president or what, you are patient, and they treat you as patient, and they have sworn hypocritical oath that they will keep everything confidential between them and their clients. And if you are asking them to report their clients that they had taken care of, and if they fail to do so, they will be punished by law. I think that was not that wasn't right. A parent whose child is a gay or lesbian is also supposed to report. A church pastor or minister who helps praise for somebody who confesses to be a gay or lesbian and needs spiritual help, that pastor is supposed by those clauses was by law to report. This was going to cause serious chaos in our society, and that would make the law a bad one. So those were the issues we raised. We never raised any harmful or anything that is objectionable in that context. So I think that the issues must be put in perspective. But for me, the important thing is that, yes, we now, the Parliament is going to pass the bill. This is a bill that has almost universal acceptance in the Ghanaian society. But there are broader issues to it. The law, when the bill is passed into act, it is going to help to control in some way or to some extent to reduce the number of people who are becoming gays and lesbians in the country. However, we need to look at the fundamental causes that, make people choose these lifestyles. The country is very hard for everyone. And one of the fundamental reasons is that the difficulty that Ghanaians and Africans face is something that is making people go into prostitution or into homosexual lifestyles. In Ghana, majority of people who call themselves, who are in homosexuality are bisexuals. And so we shouldn't look at the issues the way the arguments we are making. I think we need to focus on how to deal with that problem. What is making young people go into homosexual activities? What is making young people going into prostitution and exposing themselves to all kinds of risk, including health risk, that require the country to make huge investments in addressing those health issues. And so let's not, make it look like there are people who are against the bill and therefore those people must answer for it. No, we should look at, we've all contributed in bringing the bill to its current state. We rather have to going forward, we have to look at how we all work together as a people to address the fundamental issues.
Does a commission, Doc, does a commission have any statistics in relation to members of the LGBTQI community and the spread of HIV? Is there any data like that that you have, which you have given to the House of Parliament during the analysis ahead of the debate on this particular bill?
Yes. The data we have is on men who have sex with men, and to a limited extent, transgender. And the data clearly showed that about 54,000 men in Ghana above age 18 are homosexuals.
54,000.
Yes, 54,000. A substantial proportion of this group, of this number, is actually bisexual. We also know that about 18% of them at 2017 lived with HIV and other sexually transmitted infections. And so that was the basis of our argument that if you want doctors to report these people, it means it's going to it will prevent them from accessing HIV services. And that is going to compound the problem we have in the country, because new infections in Ghana is needlessly very high. And AIDS is one of the leading causes of death in Ghana, which means that HIV is still a major public health concern in the country. And so such a law is obviously going to compound the problem. And therefore, those clauses had to be amended in order not to drive such people underground and continue spread the virus in the general population. Because, as I said, majority of men who have sex with men in Ghana is bisexual, which means they have sex with women as well. And so the women whom they have sex with serve as bridging population between the homosexuals and the general population, because such women also may have other partners within the general population. And if we have more infections in the homosexual community, it is most likely that their partners will pick the infections and spread it in the general population. And that is a public health issue for the country, and it has to be addressed. And the law must rather enhance public health efforts rather than undermine such efforts. So that was the basis of the argument. And I think the Honorable House, through the committee, considered this issue very carefully and has kindly taken it into account in amending the bill.
It's talking about the HIV and AIDS generally. How are you doing as a country? What are some of the statistics that you want to share?
Yes. As a country, we've come a long way. We've made significant progress. Over the last 20 years or so, new infections have reduced quite significantly, but not to the level that would lead to epidemic control. New infections are still very high, averaging more than 16,000 a year. AIDS deaths also averaging more than 10,000 a year. And these numbers are very high. And so we think that prevention of new infection is very, very important. And people who engaged in anal sex. And when it comes to this bill, I think we have to make a clear distinction. The bill is proscribing activities of same-sex relationships. But in the context of public health, it is not just about same-sex relationships. It's also about sexual behavior. It's anal sex. Now, anal sex is not restricted to same-sex people involved in same-sex relationships. It's also quite prevalent among heterosexual couples. It's quite prevalent, and it's a very high-risk behavior. And so we have to look at these issues very carefully.
Okay.
And therefore, we think that the bill is going to deal with the issues that it seeks to deal with.
Very well, Doc. Before we go now,
Public health approach the Commission is using to end AIDS by the year 2030 is proven strategy that is supported by science and data. And we all have to, as a people and a society, Ghanaian society, we all have to work together to eliminate AIDS, and it is possible for us to achieve that objective. The Ghana national agenda is elimination agenda. We want to eliminate HIV and AIDS from the country, and we have the tools, the strategies to achieve this. We all have to work together to achieve this agenda.
Okay, very well. Moving forward, now that the committee has made this conclusion, which you said is not accurate, and the member of parliament wants to write to the chief of staff and say that you have gone beyond your bounds because your budget is approved by the House and you have no business doing what you did. What steps are you going to take to have this correction made, since you said that it was an error in the report?
Yes, we will talk to the committee and try to build some understanding around the issues. I think that is what we need to do for now.
Okay. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having
That's the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission. Apologies, we've had to speak to him on a very bad line, Dr. Cheme Etiahini. He was responding there to comments made by the Deputy Minority Whip, who was not happy with the position of the Commission on the anti-LGBTQI bill. He has explained there that they are not part of the opponents of the bill, as has been captured in the report of the Committee of Parliament. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hey, you ever buy credits where you get up to 20% of your money back before? Make I tell you about Vodafone's demo promo. See, anytime you recharge a demo, you get up to 20%, whether it be short code or your Vodafone cash wallet, or you don't use credit transfer to your number or someone else. And now it be high tech, so you don't use my Vodafone app or any payment app. However you do, Vodafone go send you up to 20% cash back. Into your Vodafone cash account. Reload here. Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana Citi or more in Vodafone's demo promo. And receive 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone demo promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that.
Yes, so
Somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panza.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design?
It's superb.
Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Hey,
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer. Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Now, the National Food Suppliers Association says it will not be shaken by the subtle silence of the National Food Buffer Stock Company on the demands of members. Members of the association have been picketing at the premises of the Buffer Stock Company since Tuesday, where they have been spending the nights. The disgruntled workers are pushing for their 2 years arrears to be paid immediately to keep their businesses afloat.
Let's hear from them, the Buffer Stock Company suppliers. They have actually, our reporter, Kwekwe Diamansa, has been visiting them, and as late as 2 a.m., he was reporting from the Buffer Stock Company premises, where he said the suppliers had converged and were willing to spend the night, and indeed they spent the night defying all the conditions of the weather, insisting and demanding that their monies be paid them. The National Food Buffer Stock Company has issued a statement this afternoon. It's a 3-paragraph statement, and it says that the National Food Buffer Stock Company, NAFCO, duly acknowledges its indebtedness to its cherished suppliers. The company sympathizes with them in the unfortunate situation they find themselves, which has compelled them to picket at our head office premises. The company is equally concerned about their plight and appreciates their patience. An emergency board meeting has been scheduled on the situation, and the outcome, including a possible roadmap for resolution, will be shared thereafter. The board and management of NAFCO is committed to working with all key stakeholders, including the Ministries of Education and Finance, for the prompt resolution of the issues. Signed, Corporate Affairs Department, National Food Buffer Stock Company. We have called the company seeking to get some more clarification through interview on where exactly the problem is, why, if they are sympathizing with the suppliers, they cannot simply deal with their matter, and the fact that they are indebted to them. We have not been allowed an interview. We'll keep trying. When we succeed in getting an interview with the company, we'll have a chat with them. But for now, let's go to Parliament. The committee in Parliament that focuses on education matters is the Education Committee of Parliament. The deputy ranking member on that committee is the Honorable Peter Nochu Kotwe. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and good evening.
Good evening to you. The suppliers have been spending the night at the Buffer Stock Company since Tuesday. I believe that would...
I was there yesterday to visit the women or men and women who were picketing there, to listen to them, and then to find out from management of the Buffer Stock what they were doing about the situation. I met the suppliers, spoke with them, but none of the officers at the Buffer Stock was in the office to have a discussion with me. This matter has not come formally before the Committee on Education. We also heard it as you are talking about now, and we on our own tried to see what we could do in the circumstance. Now, in my conversation with the suppliers, they are alleging that for almost 2 years now, they have not been paid for the food supplied to the various senior high schools through the Buffer Stock. Then again, they are owing them about 278 million Ghana cedis. some of them had gone to the bank or other credit facilities to take loan with interest. And the interest is getting higher and higher with the time. So they are appealing to buffer stock to pay them what they owe them. Now, they are also alleging that the Minister for Education indicated that the ministry has paid about 90% of what they owe the buffer stock. And that information is what they have. So if the Ministry of Education had paid them, why are they not paying them? But I tried to get in touch with the Minister for Education yesterday, but I was told he was in Cape Coast for a program. Today, because of the court case, the minority were not in the chamber, and I don't know if the minister came. So maybe tomorrow we will look at it again. But no official petition has come to us. We are only trying to find out why the inability of buffer stock to pay the suppliers. So for now, that is what I can say we have done as individuals, but not as a committee. And buffer stock is also not under the Ministry of Education. So we don't have an oversight responsibility. But because school children or students are involved, that's why we have shown interest so that our students do not suffer the consequence of the inability of buffer stock to pay the suppliers.
So the company is under the Ministry of Agric then, isn't it?
Exactly so.
It has acknowledged the indebtedness, even though it has not given a figure, but it says that it sympathizes with the suppliers. But I'm sure that's not what they want. They do not want sympathy. They want their money paid them. How do we proceed out of here?
Yeah, I think the statement released by buffer stock does not answer the question or the issue on hand. If you sympathize with the people, at least what steps are you taking? You wait for the board to go and meet before you tell them what to do. So should they go back or they should continue to picket over there? That is even lacking in the release. So for me, buffer stock is hiding the truth from the public and especially the suppliers. So they should have gone further to say, yes, we have the resources. Maybe when the board meets in 2-3 days' time, we will be able to pay you. This one is just an open statement which does not end anywhere. So I think from tomorrow we'll continue to see what we can do so that we are concerned about the students. And that is what we will continue to do tomorrow and see how best this matter can be resolved.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you also.
That's the Honorable Peter Nochuko, to his deputy ranking on the Education Committee of Parliament. Meanwhile, the picketing continues unabated. This will be the third day of picketing by the suppliers, Food Suppliers Association, the members of the National Food Suppliers Association. Let's listen to, so the gentleman who speaks for the group of suppliers is Kweku Amedume. He's also, I believe he should be still at the premises of the National Food Buffer Stock Company. Let me speak to him. He's joined us on the line. Amedume, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, my brother.
Are you still on the premises of the National Food Buffer Stock Company? A statement has been issued. The company says it has acknowledged the indebtedness to you and it sympathizes with you and appreciates your patience. Are you going to pack out now?
Please, no, we are not packing out.
Have you been met, though, since you started the picketing? Has any officer come out of the offices to come speak to you?
Yes, this afternoon, around the deputy CEO came to us, and that his issues are that he wants to give us a place to go and occupy, because the CEO is will be having a meeting with us on Monday on our money issue. He will be telling us when government is willing to pay us, or government will be able to pay us. And so they want to get us, there's some 15 rooms somewhere. They should go and sleep. 2 people should go and sleep on one bed. Then the remaining, they'll see how they can best find a place for us. And as for food, they cannot provide us with food until Monday, when the CEO decides to meet us. And they will tell us when the money is going to be paid to us. But my brother, these are things we don't want to entertain again. This kind of promises we don't want to entertain again.
Just a second. Just a second. So
I want to make a quick reference to the press statement purported to have been released by.
No. Before you go to the statement, so the deputy CEO, did you get a name?
Yes, Mr. Mankwa.
So he came to you and offered you, is it a room or he's asking you to go to another place, a hotel? Where were you supposed to go?
He said he's able to secure some 15 rooms somewhere.
15 rooms?
Yes.
So that will be outside the company?
Yes.
And you're going to share beds over there?
Yes.
And he wants you to go and be there until Monday so that they would have a meeting with you?
The CEO is going to have a meeting with us.
Because you have been sleeping in the open in front of their premise since Tuesday?
Yes.
Where have you been bathing?
We were offered a place, a good Samaritan behind, or just around, offered us a place. So we've been doing our bathing there.
Where do you cook food, or you don't cook, you buy?
Well, we've been cooking. We've been cooking on the same place we sleep.
At the premises?
At the premises, yeah.
What kind of meals?
Oh, today we did yam and pounded fufu. Pounded yam fufu. In the morning we did rice.
So you're pounding yam on the premise of the company today?
Yeah.
Now they've offered you a cozy place to go cool off until Monday. Why did you reject it?
We determined where we feel much more comfortable.
So why did you reject this place they have offered you?
Because we are comfortable where we are.
But it looks like they are treating you with a human face, aren't they?
No. The human face is only when our money is given to us. Our money that has been locked up for 2 years, and that has depreciated over 300-400%. This is not human face. A human face, they are going to keep us there. They're not going to even provide us with food. We should fend for food. We are not interested. We are not in the premises to talk about or to complain about our sleeping place. We have comfort in our home. If somebody is able to, somebody's money, an individual person has money, about 10.3 million Ghana cedis with buffer stock, and I have 20 million, and I have 5 million, that person is not somebody who needs a place to sleep. So if the person decides to leave his or her comfort home and come and sleep on the floor, the premises of buffer stock, that should tell you that it is not comfort the person is looking for. The person is looking for his or her money.
But some of your members, we are told, have taken ill as a result of the harsh weather conditions.
Yes, they have been taken care of. I mean, they have been discharged and they are back to China.
So Aluta continua. You are not leaving.
No. Where are we going to? Our house have been taken over by creditors. We're going back to tell them what? Where he's offering us to go and stay. That's not why we are in buffer stock premise. In fact, if we needed a place to stay, we have chosen the place to stay. We have written to police. And so I don't know why they should be worried, attempting to do us a favor by giving us a place. That's not what we're looking for. The only thing that will make us go home is money in our hand. Home we go.
You said you were going to speak to the statement. You can do that now so we can end this conversation.
Exactly, my brother. And you see, if you read the second paragraph, an emergency board meeting has been scheduled on the situation, and an outcome, including a possible roadmap for resolution, will be shared later. So it means that for the 2 years we've been asking for our money, and the promises they have been giving us, it means nothing has been done whatsoever about our money. If not this picketing. So the last time when we attempted to picket and they told us that attempts have been made and that they have been initiated process to get us paid, it was a fiasco. It was never meant to be. Because if you read the letter is not even telling us when the supposed meeting is supposed to come on. And this has people who have come to sleep in your premises for days. And I can tell you the PRO is not even in office. He's never been in office today.
Who is a PRO? Who is a PRO?
The PRO, well, I don't know his name, but he's the one who's purported to have written the letter, because at the premises they attempted to speak to the journalist attempted to speak to the CEO. The CEO said the PRO is about to release a statement, so he's not going to talk to any journalist. And even his attempt to try to convince us to go and sleep in his chosen rooms, he said he doesn't want to say that in the presence of the cameras. So there's a clear-cut ingenuity on the part of these people. Because if you are coming to convince us, things that have been in the media domain, and the media have been the people who have championed the issues for you people to even come to ask us for a room. And you have come to meet us with the media, and you don't want the media to know, to cover that you are telling us or promising us what you are promising us. It means there's no genuineness in the promise that is given.
By the way, you may have a justified cause in demonstrating, but you also need permission to assemble the way you have done. Do you have police permit to be gathered there so that...
No, we don't need permission. We need to give them notice. We have done that duly.
So, I mean, apologies. So you've notified the police that you intend to picket in front of them?
Yes, we have notified the police. When we did, we notified the police. That was, the first picketing we attempted to do. When we wrote to the police said last month, the month had been fully booked. There were going to be a lot of picketing and demonstrations and all that. And so we should put it this month. So when we decided not to go again, on that very day, we substituted the earlier letter with a fresh letter notifying them we'll be having our picketing on the 4th of July. So we never heard anything from them. On the 3rd, 4 o'clock, 20 minutes after 4 o'clock, I received a phone call from the regional directorate, Ghana Police Service, Greater Accra, that they wanted to see us in their meeting around 4 o'clock. And I was like, I am far away from Greater Accra region. Where the office is, the region. And so if I want to come there, it would take me another 2 hours because I'm far away in Ebri. Then he said I should try and come. I said, well, I'll try and see if I can get somebody to come. So in the next 5 minutes, they called me again. That they wanted to tell me that they did not hear anything from police headquarters. So we should not proceed with our picketing. And I told them that, unfortunately, the timing for telling me this feedback is wrong. Because we had submitted our letter 3 clear weeks to them. In fact, they had made us change our mind to put the date the following month. So for them to be telling us that they need approval from police headquarters, I don't think I will communicate him to the members, but I don't think and believe that the members will comply. So that's what we are picking. We have served them notice. We have complied with the law.
We wish you all the best, and thank you for speaking to us. We'll be back tonight again to see how the mosquitoes are treating you while you continue to picket them. That's Kweku Amedume. He is the spokesperson of the National Food Suppliers Association. They've been sleeping at the ministry, not the ministry, at the National Food Suppliers, National Food Buffer Stock Company since Tuesday, and they said they will continue to do so until their monies are paid them 2 years arrears they talk about. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Akosia.
The New Patriotic Party has wrapped up the vetting of all 10 flag-bearer hopefuls, with former Member of Parliament for Mampong, Francis Adainimo, being the last to appear. The vetting, which is critical as part of processes leading to the election of a presidential candidate for the 2024 elections, began on July 3 and ends today. Francis Adainimo, after his vetting, said he has trust in the vetting committee despite concerns about some candidates being favoured over others.
Let us see this contest as a free contest. It is not a contest for any 2-3 personalities. It is a contest for all the 10. And all the 10, the first stage is to get to be the part of the first 5. Once you are part of the first 5, then we are set to go for the main contest.
About the contest being for all the 10, there's been concerns that some candidates are being favored over others. What do you make of these concerns?
Well, I don't know what the favor you're talking about, but so far, the ground rules which have been set out by the National Council and being implemented through the Office of the General Secretary, in my opinion, has been smooth. and doesn't favor anybody. The party structure will not tell you how you should campaign. The party structure will not tell you how you should secure your votes. That is a strategy for every individual candidate. And so unless there are clear-cut issue that tends to favor one person, at this stage, I have not seen it. But if there's any issue, after this vetting stage, which I'm the last person to be vetted today, I'm sure hopefully by next week, the report from the Presidential Vetting Committee will be out to indicate those who have qualified or not.
So that was Francis Adainimo, who is the flag bearer hopeful of the NPP, speaking ahead of the 2024 elections. Now, the High Court in Accra has adjourned the case involving Asen North MP James Chachikwesin to July 11 to deliver a ruling on the application for stay of proceedings. Lawyers for the embattled MP on Thursday moved an application for the court to stay proceedings to allow to hear its plea to review a decision by the trial judge to hear the case on a day-to-day basis. Lead counsel for the team, Chachu Chikata, argued that any decision not to stay the proceedings will be prejudged in the appeal. Prosecution led by Attorney General Godfred Dame, however, opposed the application.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Hello and welcome to Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. It was brought to you by citibusinessnews.com. My name is Akusia Ocho. Let's settle for the details. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, has shed light on the decline in foreign direct investment FDI landscape in Accra or Africa, emphasizing the need for strategic shifts towards green investments. Highlighting the World Investment Report, which unveiled Africa's unfortunate decline in FDI, GIPC emphasized that Ghana must seize the opportunity to tap into emerging markets. Speaking during an Economic Councillors Dialogue, the CEO of the Center, Yofi Grant, emphasized the inherent strengths that Ghana possesses.
We just recently got the World Investment Report, and the trend in Africa is actually trending downwards. Africa was the one that suffered the most from the decline in FDI. Some other developing countries, in fact, the Caribbeans and a couple of countries of Latin America got the bulk of investments. Even the US investments are decreasing. Even China's share of FDI is decreasing. So the world is in a transition space of many different dimensions. I think our best opportunity comes from green investments. Well, because we naturally are doing some things right, like reforestation, like trying to combat galamsey, like introducing sustainable energy in the public. For example, government has a policy that all state buildings in the very near future should get off the grid and get solar. Those things are what is going to bring new investment.
Yofi Grant is CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC. Away from that, as part of moves to ensure the compilation of a national business register, the Office of the Registrar of Companies says it will commence the implementation of verification processes to address issues of compliance of business registration. This comes after the office announced an extension of the deadline for filing annual returns and renewals until September 30 this year. Nicholas Obenchum is the PRO of the Registrar of Companies, and he's been speaking to Citi Business News.
On the 30th of December, we will begin a process we call verification process. The verification is simply to know the companies that complied, the business names that complied, the churches, the schools, the NGOs, the foundations, the associations that complied and duly filed their annual returns and the businesses that duly renewed their business name. Then thereafter, we will begin the process and let those still in default, and we'll commence the processes of striking their names out. Remember, all this we are doing is in compliance with the provisions as spelled out by the various acts governing the operations of the ORC. So what we are saying is this, that after 30th of September, if there is no compliance, then we will commence the processes of striking the names off to get an accurate and reliable business register for companies, sole proprietors, and other entities.
That was Public Relations Officer of the Office of the Registrar of Companies, Nicholas Obenchum. Now, as government struggles to raise revenue to support the country's economic slowdown, some tax analysts want government to turn attention to taxation on single-use plastics. This, they believe, will help in Ghana's revenue generation while protecting the environment. In recent times, there has been a strong push for policy instruments to drive responsible manufacturing of plastics, and key amongst them has been taxes on such products. Tax consultant Francis Timor, in an interview with Citi Business News, said taxing plastics is a viable alternative.
I think that drastic measures must be taken to protect the environment, and introduction of a plastic tax is one such policy. We have seen some countries who have introduced similar taxes, and they have either somehow banned completely the use of plastic. UK, for example, introduced a plastic tax in 2023, and we have some other countries that have completely banned the use of plastic just to protect the environment. So things like sachet, plastic bags, and all those things, we can easily find alternative for them if the government is bold enough to ban such a product. And again, I think that aside protecting the environment, it also serves as a good source of revenue for government. Look at plastic products in Ghana. Almost everything you buy is in plastic. So manufacturers should start thinking of getting alternative way of packaging the materials, and in so doing, they may be protecting the environment.
Francis Timor is a tax consultant. Now, economist Kwame Pianim has raised concerns about the high interest rates being charged by some financial institutions in the country. He explains that this will prevent indigenous businesses from springing up to create more avenues for the youth. On the interbank interest rate market, the average interest rate is pegged at 26.20%. But some financial institutions are charging above this rate. Speaking at the launch of the 20th anniversary launch of Bayport in Accra, he said that the calls by the Bank of Ghana for financial institutions to reduce their interest rate is timely.
But in Ghana, one of the things facing is high interest rate, and it's time we work to bring the interest rates down, and that was timely advice. I know Nana Osenses, he doesn't give praises for nothing. He was full of praise, and I think they want take good care of your non-performing loans, lower your interest.
That was economist Kwame Pianim. Now, running a business is no longer tedious with the advent of digital tools and artificial intelligence. This is because these emerging technologies are enabling entrepreneurs and new business ventures to gain a competitive advantage. That's why players in the space want your company to use these platforms to increase productivity and also customer satisfaction. At a data and AI forum in Accra, customer intelligence or excellence strategist at technology company Cloudware, Mildred Fuswa, stressed the need to embrace digital technologies for business growth.
To be able to actually define business strategies, okay, there are some trends actually with a lot of clients, and then as they are online, maybe we are able to try to identify a trend in terms of what people are expecting. So organizations are able to use such data to define or to create models that will well satisfy their customers. So data is one way of organizations trying to improve on customer satisfaction. So if organizations are able to actually harness this data what we refer to as big data. They are able to use this data to create solutions that meet their customers' needs, and in the end create enhancing customer satisfaction, generating more revenue in the long run. So that is why we are trying to just open organizations to the possibilities, and then also to tools and solutions that are going to help such organizations to be able to leverage or to be able to make meaningful insights from data that they gather from their customers.
Mildred Fosua is a customer excellence strategist at technology firm Cloudware. Well, that's it for Citi Business News and Eyewitness News. It was powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Akwesi Autry. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Point Blank. In Parliament today decided to boycott Citi. They said they did that in solidarity with their colleague who is standing trial, a member of Parliament for Asin North. The minority whip, who is also standing trial over the procurement of ambulances into the Republic of Ghana, was standing trial, had his day in court as well. So the NDC members of Parliament decided not to show up in the chamber today. Announcement was made before the decision was taken today. The leader of the minority side explained to the House during the swearing-in of James Jachikwesin that that for as long as James Jachikwesin goes to court, the NDC MPs will not sit in the chamber. Don't forget that the court had decided to hear James Jachikwesin's case on a daily basis. What that means is that NDC MPs will not be going to the House of Parliament. And that started today. A decision was made by the court from our court reporter, Hansen Ajiman, who was in court today on the two issues, how the cases went, plus who and who were there, if the whole 7 members of parliament. Hansen Ajiman is our man in court. Hansen, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Were all the MPs there?
No, not all the MPs were there.
About how many MPs were there, if there were any MPs at all?
I could count close to 30. Yes, so let's say a little above 30 MPs were there.
Who?
Leader Ato Forsen, ranking member on the health committee, Mita Akando, Rickett Hagan was there, North Tongue, a member of parliament, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, Assignment member of parliament, Ernest Nogbe, minority chief whip Kwame Gavins Agboja, Collins Dowda was there, as well as Dela Soa. Now, these are some of the... and also, Jachikwesin himself was also in court.
Well, both cases were called when the Jachikwesin case and the Ato Forsen case. What was the decision on both?
Well, so for Ato Forsen's case, one of the accused person, as was relayed in court, was not able to make it because of health issues. And so that has been adjourned. But the Jachikwesin case was called, and the agenda for today was for the parties to argue out their points with respect to whether the High Court should stay proceedings pending the determination of the decision from the Court of Appeal with respect to the appeal application that has been filed by lawyers of Jachikwesin relating to the decision of the High Court to hear the matter on daily basis. So, lawyer for the accused person, Jachikwesin, that's Chachichikata, moved the case of the accused person, and his argument first.
Hello, Hansen. Apologies, we lost Hansen Ajiman there. He's our court correspondent. I was just explaining to us what transpired in the court today, but the information is that on July 11, that case would be called. But let's go on the other phone line and speak to one of the MPs who was in the courts today to support James Jachikwesin, I believe the leader of the side of Parliament. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa is NDC Member of Parliament for North Tongue. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Umaru.
This decision of yours, is it healthy for parliamentary democracy? You're giving the judiciary precedence over the legislature.
Well, good evening to all our distinguished listeners. First of all, I think it is important to emphasize that parliamentary boycotts and parliamentary walkouts are toolkits available to houses of parliament all over the world. And indeed, if you look at Ghana's own parliamentary history, there have been numerous boycotts, some of which have been led or spearheaded by even the current president. So let it not be said that what we have engaged in is undemocratic or it is inimical to our democracy, or that we are placing the judiciary or above the Parliament of Ghana, or if you like, we are derelicting. We are exercising our democratic right to boycott proceedings and to bring to the fore what we believe, without a shred of doubt, is clear case of persecution. Why we have come to this conclusion is based on the president's recent pronouncement when he addressed the people of Assin North during the MPP rally during the last by-election. For those who thought that the ongoing persecution were not persecutions but prosecution, and that it will be a fair trial, that the charges have merit, and that it is not a kangaroo process. All of those people have been left with a very rude awakening that indeed what is going on is nothing but witch hunting and a clear political manipulation of the judiciary. When the president says in the most prejudicial manner that people of Asinov don't vote for this son of yours or father of yours or uncle of yours, this NDC candidate, because he's going to jail. The president was very emphatic, very unequivocal. He didn't waver at all, and added that what benefit will it be if your MP is in jail? How can he operate from prison? I mean, the most prejudicial statement. How does the president know that James Jachikwesin will end up in prison? And how is he able to pronounce so emphatically that James Jachikwesin is going to jail? And you see, we are guided by precedent. The irony is that the lawyer for Honorable James Jachikwesin has been a victim of this before. I refer to lawyer Chachu Chikata. And lawyer Chachu Chikata has been able to live to tell the story. Indeed, he has gone back to the Supreme Court, and indeed the records now show that the Supreme Court has declared what happened to him a travesty of justice and has expunged that. He's been totally acquitted, which confirms that when a president, and in Chachu Chikata's case, it was President Kufuor, who made similar political pronouncements, and we know how it ended. So we are clear in our minds that what is going on in the case of Honorable James Jachikwesin, in the case of Honorable Atu Forsen, and in the case of the Honorable Collins Dauda, is nothing but a political witch hunt. And that is why the minority leader announced during the swearing in of the Honorable Kwesi that we are no longer going to cooperate. Parliamentary business, unfortunately, will have to suffer because we want to stand up to the tyranny. We want to stand up to the oppressor. We want to stand up to all of these machinations. We don't want to just sit back and just watch our colleagues being sent, to the slaughterhouse helplessly. We want to rise up in solidarity, and we want to point to the whole world that we now see clearly the political witch hunt going on, the clear abuse of power, manipulation of the judicial process to seek political ends, and that we are not going to tolerate that. We are not going to sit idle for our colleagues to be sent to the slaughterhouse. And that is why we have delved into the parliamentary toolkit, and we are now using boycotts to make this point.
Honorable Blakwa, if this was the first case, then your position would be justified. But to the extent that someone has been tried in similar fashion and that person jailed, and that person was a sitting MP, and the NPP minority at the time did not boycott, critics would say what you are doing now would amount to double standards and hypocrisy because it has happened before. What is different about this particular case? It is still an issue of, dual citizenship, isn't it?
So, Umaru, let me hope that you are playing the devil's advocate. We have said time without number that nobody can compare the two cases. The facts are not even close. And unless somebody is only on the path of mischief, you cannot compare the two instances. Let's take the fact of Dramani Sakande, which I believe is the case you are referring to. In Sakande's case, Sakande had never declared his other two nationalities, Burkina Faso nationality, British nationality. He contested the election, won the Bokus seat, was sworn in, was serving as a member of parliament, concealed this vital fact, this clear violation of Article 94(2) of our Constitution and PNDC Law 284. The Honorable Sakande concealed all of this, hid it from everybody, hid it from his constituents, hid it from the Parliament of Ghana, hid it from the general public. In the case of the Honorable James Jachi Kwesi, on his own volition, in December 2019, a year, 12 clear months before the December 7, 2020 election, on his own accord, he applied to the Canadian authorities. And under Canadian law, when you apply, automatically you have renounced your citizenship. In any case, after that application, we all know that by February, March, COVID was ravaging. So the Canadians say that they had to delay everything else. You can understand that human lives were at stake. We were faced with the worst pandemic in a lifetime. So they responded many months after, specifically on the 26th of November, that is before the election. Let's declare, 26th November 2020, the Honorable Sakande, even after all these delays by the Canadians, the Honorable Kwesi, pardon me, received his renunciation certificate about 10 clear days to the election of December 7, 2020. So by the time the people of Assin North were voting for Honorable Kwesi, he had been declared a full Ghanaian citizen. He did not owe allegiance to any other country, even if you were to give a narrow interpretation to allegiance to be just, having dual citizenship. That's been renounced. And so by the time he contested on the 7th of December, he no longer had any other citizenship. He has satisfied Article 94 of the Constitution. He has met the criteria under PNDC Law 284 and our Political Parties Act, and had even satisfied the rule or the authority in the Papa Kwesi Ndom case. Then by the time he was sworn in on January 7, 2021, he no longer had allegiance to any other country. So the facts are so far apart. In the case of Sakande, he was sworn in, kept quiet, concealed the information, hid this fact from everybody until he was found out. And then a constituent of his, Tumala Bill, the famous cattle wrestler, found him out, and he was exposed and prosecuted. In this case, the Honorable James Jachi Kwesi, did not have any intention, did not demonstrate any, mensura to mislead the Ghanaian people, or, if you like, mislead public officers. He had totally renounced. And you see, what is even intriguing is that, Umaru, there was a petition before his election, after his primaries. That petition was sat upon by the Electoral Commission. That petition said that this gentleman is not eligible because he holds dual citizenship. The Electoral Commission looked at all the facts, looked at his application, looked at all the documents, and cleared the Honorable Kwesi to contest. Now, if you read Article 94(2) There is no ambiguity. Article 94(2) says that you cannot owe allegiance as a member of parliament. It doesn't say as a parliamentary candidate. So even this bizarre claim that he should have received his certificate in October before he filed his papers, I think we don't know where this is coming from. Because if you read PNDC Law 284, it's clear that you should be eligible by the time you are contesting, by December 7th. You become a member of parliament after you have been elected and you have been sworn in. So I am on all fours with, look, the growing number of legal luminaries like Justice Dorsey, the former eminent appeal court judge, a venerable jurist at that, who has said that, look, he can't make sense of this judgment. Professor Kweku Asare, who has said that this is the worst judgment ever in the history of our country. The Domahine, the venerable Domahine, respected High Court judge, who has said that he would never have ruled this way. If everybody was going right, he would have gone left in his own way. The former Attorney General Ayikwe Otu, who has said that, look, this is going nowhere. This is embarrassing. An MPP, leading MPP member, and has called on the current Attorney General to file a nolle prosequi. So the facts are totally different. You cannot, by any stretch of imagination, compare the Kwesi case to Sakande. I think it's just sheer propaganda to just obfuscate the issues, muddy the waters, and make it look as if the facts are the same. It's a similar matter. And inherent in that, in my opinion, is even a certain, mindset which shows that, look, it's not about pursuing justice. It is just to score, if you like, political points to achieve a certain vengeful effect. So it's vengeance, it's vendetta.
Okay.
So anytime they break up Sankande, they know the facts are not the same, but they just want to tell their members that, look, yes, they did it to Sakande, we are also doing it to Kwesi. It shouldn't be about tit for tat. I mean, that's not how you run a country. That's not what justice is about. Look at the fact. Look at the merit of the case. Look, if Kwesi had concealed this from us, I will even be embarrassed following him to the court, expressing solidarity. I'll be ashamed. I mean, I will not associate with somebody who set out to engage in criminality. That is not the case.
We need to go, but in 30 seconds, the decision is that insofar as he goes to court, you would also be there.
Yes, all three of them, Honorable Kwesi, Honorable Atufosin, Honorable Collins Dauda, anytime they are needed in court, we'll boycott proceedings and go solidarize with them until further notice, because this is clearly a witch hunt.
All right. Thank you for speaking to us. That's Honorable Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa. He's NDC Member of Parliament for North Tong, ending tonight's edition of Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. Production tonight by Bevelyn London, Kwabna Wilson, and Sami Wiafi. Technical support from Daniel Squashi. New media support